There you go.
I apologize about that.
Oh, we got Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I am definitely the Beast. That's for sure. Here, Jesse, come on in.
All right, I'll squeeze
On the live replay, you'll see the whole screen, but unfortunately,
Okay, it's all good. It's all good.
Everyone in the live chat, this is not an awkward interview, I promise.
Okay, get in there, Jess.
I want to know, you said that you had been doing martial arts since you were 12. Did you ever think that if you never pursued like announcing or anything like that, would you have become a professional fighter?
Not a professional fighter, but what happened was, I mean, I fought a lot as a kid. We've all had our experiences, right? And as a teenager into my 20s too. Being a surfer in Malibu, where I moved to from Philadelphia when I was 15, I was Baywatch before Baywatch, and surfers are very territorial, and there was a lot of fights going on. And all we did was surf, train, spar, and fight. And I really enjoyed it. And then I got into the world of kickboxing because I wanted to fight for real. And I actually was training to have one pro fight. And I was like 32 or 31 at the time. And I got concussed twice during my training, which was probably on top of God knows how many other concussions I've dealt with. You know, you don't know. I think when you get head trauma, basically you have been concussed, whether I'm getting slapped by a 10-foot wave in Hawaii or, you know, and getting out going, whoa, that was crazy, right? Or kickboxing. So on my second concussion, I had to go to the doctor because I was experiencing concussive reactions, slurring my speech and the headaches and all that went with it. And he said, you need to stop those. He said, are you making money from this? I said, no, I have 2 businesses. I'm doing great. I just love to do this. And he said, well, train, but don't take the head trauma anymore. Because what you're experiencing today, which is going to go away, could stay with you when you turn 45 and never go away. I took that very seriously.
So how do you feel about fighters who take, you know, constant head trauma and they decide that they want to keep fighting, and even well into their 40s, you know, they decide they want to continue their career, but they've taken so much trauma.
For instance, Tony Ferguson. The guy seems like he has brain damage. Let's be honest here. Like,
well, you said that, I didn't, but I understand what you're saying. I feel, I mean, there are certain fighters you see that take so many punches, and I worry about their future. And one of the things that I can't stand when commentators say it is, man, he could take a punch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, but you know, there's an underlying thing to that. Look at football, all right? Mahomes goes down the other week into a concussive position. He's out the next week playing football. What happens when a fighter gets concussed? They can't fight for 3 to 6 months or whatever it is.
Sure.
You know, so there's a reason for that. And it's something that we don't know what's going to happen until it happens, the CTE possibilities. But this is the nature of the business. How do you not take punches to the head? I mean, there's just no way to avoid it. It's something you have to accept going in.
Yeah.
So get your defense together. Don't take the punches.
Yeah.
When I was training, I probably spent more time training on defense than on offense.
Well, a guy like Max Holloway, who put on a spectacular performance, but what bothered me at the very end was he had his hands down. He's talking to the guys on the side. I'm sure you heard everything that he was saying, and he was just taking punches unnecessary. Like, I feel like it doesn't mean anything if you're going to showboat like that and eat, you know, significant strikes like that.
Well, Max fights the way he fights, and, you know, he's an incredible fighter, incredible striker, boxing abilities, the whole bit. There's very few MMA fighters that could stand themselves in a boxing ring against a true boxer, as well as a boxer's going to lose 99.9% of the time walking in the octagon, you know.
Sure.
It remains to be seen. It just remains to be seen. Some people go through life, they take a lot of punches, and they're fine. Others suffer. It's kind of like COVID virus, you know. Not everybody dies from it. Not everybody has the same effects. And then some people, healthiest of people, have the worst after effects possible. I won't mention name, but I know of one MMA fighter, not in UFC. He can't even do cardio 6 months after having COVID.
Wow.
You know? But yet other people can get it and they're fine right after. It's just very temperamental.
Do you fear that there's going to be a serious injury one day? I'm knocking on wood because I freaking love this sport. But do you feel there's going to be a serious injury where they're going to have to severely alter the game, like take away elbows or knees or wear some sort of head protection? Do you think down the road this is inevitable, or you think they can navigate in a way where it can stay similar for a long period of time?
I think if that was going to happen, it would have already happened by now. There's been 3 or more deaths in mixed martial arts, not in the UFC octagon. And I pray it never happens on my shift. And when you go back to where it happened, it was poor medical or letting guys fight too soon. But I think with what's happened already, with everything we've seen and all the injuries we've seen, you know, that would have happened by now. This is the fight game. This is the hurt game. Okay. If you got to start wearing headgear, where's the attraction to the sport? Now, I can see that maybe in the Olympics, when it eventually makes the Olympics, what kind of headgear they would wear, I do not know. Probably elbows will not be allowed in the Olympics, or knees, but there will still be, you know, the wrestling, the boxing, and the combination of taekwondo and everything already in the Olympics put into the same one event with all the rules, which is going to be a form of mixed martial arts, which will probably eventually be an Olympic event.
Right.
I think that would have happened by now. And there's been enough serious injuries. I don't know what else could happen beyond, tragically, the few deaths that have happened to convince somebody that has to take place. I mean, what other injury could possibly happen? We've seen all the broken bones and broken egos possible.
Do you
and
feel,
it just keeps going on.
Do you feel boxing is a more dangerous sport? A lot of people say that when it comes to concussions and stuff like that, boxing is actually more dangerous than MMA.
Well, when you watch, the brawls that Gaethje and Holloway go through, it's similar to boxing. And Holloway threw, like 400 to 500 more punches, where in boxing in a 10, 12-round fight, there's 1,000 or more thrown, because the object is to hit the guy and knock him down for 10 seconds, to either be knocked out, where they get up again and they have a chance to get knocked down again. And thank God for the amazing referees that we have that get in there and save and help these fighters, whether they make a quick decision that's right or wrong. That's their job, is safety. So boxing, yes, I think from the training and everything, I've said this all along, it is more dangerous. I mean, when you get down to it, there's a point, I don't know if it's the same this year, where 5 or more boxers a year were dying. Whether it's in training or whatever, which is not the case in mixed martial arts, but it's obvious why, with all the head trauma, where a lot of that happens in the training. I've been to an event, I forget the name of the boxer, where he did die that night. He died at the hospital after he left the ring, and I could tell it was horrible.
Oh, you were there that night?
Oh, yeah. I've seen so many boxing events, because remember, I managed my brother Michael Buffer. I've been going to boxing events for 30 years.
You still managing him? Pardon
me?
You still managing Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Everything Michael does, I'm the man behind the rumble, so Michael does his thing and I take care of business.